Okay. Good evening, everyone. I want to gladly welcome us to tonight's edition of Through It All with Kola Olugbodi. I trust we are all good, and I hope the Lord has been faithful unto you. All right, so for people joining the program for the first time today, I want to welcome you so specially to Through It All. Through It All, it's all about using our stories to inspire, to encourage others, and to give people hope. These are the days that many things are happening all over the world, and the faith of people are failing them, their hearts are failing them. Many don't even know what to do next, but we want to always use this program to encourage people, regardless of the darkness that may be around us there. You can actually be the light that is missing. Like the Bible says, it said, you are the light of the world. So if everybody is crying that, hey, there's darkness all over the place, things are not moving, maybe you are the one the whole world is waiting for. Maybe you are the one that has been hiding your own light under the bushel, under the bed, and the whole place is dark, the whole place is in chaos, and you that's supposed to be the light, you are the one also shouting along with the others. All right, so Through It All is all about letting you know that everyone may be shouting and screaming that there is a casting down, everything is going under. But for you, you can actually always say, there's a lifting up. Just because I'm here, I'm not going to join the crowd to keep wailing and crying and saying a lot of nasty things with our mouth. Let you stand out as the light that the whole world is waiting for, that the nation called Nigeria is waiting for. The Bible says the earnest expectation of the whole creation is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. We are the light, we are the solution. They are waiting for us, yet we also, we are not aware of that. We are crying the way everybody is crying. Please, let's rise up from now. We are the light of the world. All right, so once again, I welcome us to Through It All. The title of this program was derived from my book, Through It All. Let me see if I can bring it up here. All right, so this is the book, Through It All. It's the memoir of my many trials and triumph. By His grace, I've been through many challenges in this world, starting with disability. A lot of other things have happened in my life, but through it all, the Lord has been very faithful. I am who I am today because of the grace and the strength of the Lord. Okay, so you can always order for your own copy of the book. tia.com.ng is the website, and the number is 2234-802-6143683. All right. And then if you're not sure, just send me a message and I will make sure I guide you to how you can get a copy of the book. All right, so we are going to the business of tonight right away. My guest for tonight was somebody that I got to know about, I think some 5-6 years ago, when CNN broadcasted a story. And, the first day I watched it, I was so thrilled, I was so challenged, I was inspired. And if Farida will remember, I sent a message to her. Immediately I watched the program on Facebook that year, and of course we have not thought of coming up with Through It All. And now that Through It All is existing, and this is the second year running, the name Farida just came to my heart some days ago. and I contacted her, and I'm so glad that she accepted that she was going to feature on True It All tonight. So I'm so glad, and with the gladness of God in my heart, I want to welcome Farida to the screen, to True It All. Farida, good evening. Welcome to True It All.
Good evening. Can you see my camera? Can you see me?
I'm going to see you shortly.
Because I'm seeing it as blank. I don't know.
Yes, it's blank. Okay. I'm going to see you now. It's coming blank. I don't know why.
It's coming blank. Okay, let me log out and log back in and see whether.
All right. I think that will be okay. I think that will be okay. All right. So please let's give Farida just a minute to log out and come back. She's going to be sharing a story with us. Though Farida was born in Nigeria, but she's a Ghanaian. Her parents are from Ghana, and she presently resides in Ghana, but she was born in Nigeria. So there was a mix-up when CNN first brought her story out. They said she was a Nigerian, so they had to correct it to say it was a mistake. All right, let's just wait. Okay, Farida is here now. It stays showing that you're blank. I don't know why. Farida, okay, you've not switched on, you are muted.
Is it still blank?
It's still blank, Farida.
Okay, let me switch my machine then. Maybe that's the security condition. Give me 2 minutes, please. Okay.
Okay. All right. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, we are still holding on for Farida. But while she's doing that, maybe I should share this scripture with us. Psalm 139. Psalm 139, I'm reading from verse 1. Farida, once you are set, just let me know so that I can stop at any point. It says, Psalm 139, I'm reading from verse 1. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is out of my tongue. You, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in. You hem me in behind and before. You lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depth, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right. Sorry for the break in transmission. All right, Farida is around. Okay. I think I was trying to share a scripture, and where I was going was that verse 14 of Psalm 139. It says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. All right. So there are times that we write ourselves off. There are times that we look at our situations, our circumstances, and we just tell ourselves, I'm not worth anything. I'm good for nothing. Nothing good can happen in my life. But the Bible tells us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. You can't decide what should happen in your life. He has planned it out. He has formed you out. And the plan he has for you is to make you great in life. So don't look at your circumstances. Don't look at your current situation. Instead, just look up to the one that has made you, and you will discover that you can make so much impact upon even the heart that we are in presently. All right. So with that, I want to once again specially welcome to Through It All, Farida Bedwei. I hope I always get that your surname very well, Bedwei. All right. So Farida, how are you? You're muted. Okay, let me release you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you. How about you?
All right. Thank you so much, Farida. Thank you for accepting to feature on Through It All.
It's my pleasure.
All right. Like I said in my introduction, the program is all about storytelling. It's all about using our stories to encourage and give hope unto others. You know, so most times I always say it's not even about us. It's about using our stories to help somebody out there. Somebody that believes that nothing good can come out of my life, that everything is over with me. So it's all about using our stories. So once again, thank you, Farida, for coming to Through It All.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, before we even go into my story or whatever, Why do you think people are so hopeless these days? I mean, we all know that things are tough and all around, but why is it that all my life I've been told I am an inspiration and all those things. And for me, I'm not doing anything fantastic as far as I'm concerned. I'm just living my life with the best tools that I have and finding a way of living the best life that I can live in spite of my disability and all. So I did not set out to inspire anybody. And I'm sure, Kola, that is also your take. I mean, you didn't set out and say that, yes, I'm going to inspire somebody today. You're just
No,
living your life with whatever that God has given you to do. So for
exactly.
me, I'm always telling people that, look, at the end of the day, this is the hand you have been dealt with in life, and you have to find the best way of living it. And stop complaining and saying that, oh, miserable, miserable me. That will not take you anywhere in life. And stop looking for other people to inspire you. Inspire yourself, motivate yourself.
I
People
love
ask
that.
me, people ask me who motivated me and who inspired me, who's my role model and all that. And I don't have one. I just look within myself and say that, okay, today I want to do this. How can I do it? If it's not possible or have to go through a circuitous route to get it done, I do that. But I don't sit down and moan and groan and say that, so because my leg is hurting or because I have the disability, I'm not going to achieve anything or all that stuff. You're just harming yourself. I mean, you have to find, whether you like it or not, this is the body you have been given. This is the country you have been put in. This is the continent you have been put in. So you have to make the best out of it.
Mm,
And stop
mm.
complaining.
Wow. Wow. Like you rightly said, Farida, nobody sets out to say, I want to go encourage people. But then the way you live your life, the way you carry yourself, the way you go beyond your limitations, before you know it, your life will just become an inspiration. You understand? So nobody sets out to say, let me go inspire people. Like just gather, you're just living your life, and others are just looking at you and they say, oh, all right, I don't have the situation she has, but I've been complaining about my life, thinking that, oh, because I grew up without my father or my mother died when I was 5. For some people, that's their predicament in life. If only my parents were alive, my life would have been better than this. You understand? So they can't see any positive dimension to their lives. You understand? So that's why, whether we like it or not, when we go beyond what we think our challenges are, and we begin to burst forth and make impact in life, whether we like it or not, our lives is going to become inspiring. You
But
understand?
but you realize that everybody is challenged in a way. I mean, nobody is perfect. So we all have our own challenges, our own disabilities, and all those things. It's just that people like you and I, ours is visible for everybody to see. And we know what our disabilities are. So I kind of feel sorry for the other people who are walking around thinking that, oh, they are perfect and everything is right with them. The one that they realize that, oh, I can't do this. Then suddenly their whole life crashes down because they realize that, oh, they are lacking in a certain area of their life. And I cannot, and I'm like, look, just accept it that at the end of the day, as long as you're not perfect, there's a part of you that will not work the way it's supposed to work. Just like for you and I, it is our physical body which doesn't work according to what normal standards are. But but
Exactly.
but for me, I'm like, God being so good. my brain wasn't affected in that area, although I have a brain damage. It did not affect the intelligence. So I harped on that, and I built up the part that wasn't affected. Thanks to a very supportive family and the grace of God. So I mean, you can't go through life complaining about what you can't do. Find out what you can do and figure a way of living your best life, concentrating on what you can do.
I hope somebody out there is getting what Farida is saying. She's actually starting from where we used to end the program.
Oh, sorry.
Ideally, I always tell people, use your story to encourage others, to advise others. So what Farida is saying is that if she can keep pushing in life, and by God's grace, she's who she is today, what you just need to do also is to realize that, yes, everyone in life has their own challenges, and it's how you take it, how you see yourself. So it's more of you getting self-motivated, self-inspired. I know that's like what you're saying.
Yeah. And I mean, recently, I have to realize what your purpose in life is.
Exactly.
Why did God put you on this earth? What you have to realize that, because until you realize that, you are just going through life without any aim. So because I remember at one of the numerous interviews that I have done, the coach asked me that, he asked me a very thought-provoking question, that would I rather not have this disability? I mean, if I had a choice to come without this disability, what would I choose? Of course, everybody would say that, why should I live my life with a disability? I mean,
Exactly.
out of thousands of people, 99.999% will say that. But for me,
Exactly.
I said that, look, at the end of the day, what is my purpose in life? It's my purpose in life to impact lives. It's my purpose in life to make people realize that yes, you can have a disability and you can still be a success story in West Africa, in Ghana, in Nigeria, in the so-called third world developing countries. If that is my purpose in life, then yes, I guess I have to accept what comes with it. So yeah, so I mean, I would sure, without a disability, I would have had a different life, but we wouldn't have had the kind of impact that it has.
Exactly.
And for that reason, I'm willing to live the life that I'm living, because I can see the impact it is having across the world, and that is something that you cannot put a price on.
You are very correct, Farida. You're very, very correct. And like you rightly said, I granted an interview, I mean, a way back. And, the interviewer asked me a question. He said, if you have people that can lay hands on you and you get healed and your disability disappeared, say, would you feel fulfilled? And I told them, if you guys should try it, then you have succeeded in stopping me fulfilling my purpose in life. Because God deliberately created me this way, because he knew that this is what's going to make me to be able to have the impact I must have in life. That's why I believe he didn't make any mistake with my life. I'm fearfully and I'm wonderfully made. So I so much agree with you, what you have said, Farida. Incidentally, many people don't know your story yet, Farida. It's only, well, especially in Nigeria, some people have not heard your story before. So I want you to share your story with us.
Where do I start from?
start from, it's always good to start from the beginning, when you were giving birth to, and then how your parents discovered that something was not right.
Okay, so I was actually born in Lagos, Nigeria. That is
Wow.
why there was a mixed up on CNN,
On
because
CNN, yeah.
in America, where you are born determines your citizenship. They don't know that in Africa we are very we are very critical about that thing. Anyway,
That's
so
true.
yeah, we have very strong feelings about that thing. So, yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
I was born in Lagos, and I have an older sister, and so that are just the two of us. And before I was born with a blocked intestine, so I had to be operated on when I was 2 days old, because I wasn't able to keep anything down. And yeah, so after that, I was in the incubator for 6 weeks because of the operation. And I got jaundice because of the blood group incompatibility of my parents. So there's something called the rhesus factor in the blood. So if one parent is negative, like O negative, and another parent is positive, like A positive, the child would have that condition,
Mm.
which will result in jaundice. And if jaundice is not treated early, by by using the phototherapy, or as they do locally, they tell you to take the child out for the early morning sun to to turn the eyes back from yellow or whatever, then
Mm.
then it can cause a brain damage. Because I was in incubator for 6 weeks, they could not do the phototherapy treatment in time, so it caused the brain damage, which is called cerebral palsy.
Wow.
And so that was how it started. And I wasn't diagnosed until I was 1, because after the surgery, everything was successful. I went home, but I wasn't meeting the milestones, the developmental milestones, where at 3 or 4 months you're sitting up, at 6 months you're crawling, and all those things. I wasn't doing any of those things. So at the age of 1, my mom took me to London for a checkup, and they did the scan, and they saw that I had the brain damage, which is also known as cerebral palsy, because of the part of the brain that was damaged. It's the cerebellum. The cerebellum is the part that controls the motor development of the child.
Okay.
So obviously, if that is damaged, it will affect your movements, depending on how extensive the damage is. It can even affect your sight and your hearing and all those things as well. So yeah. So that was it. Then so obviously there's no cure for it. So it's years of therapies, all kinds of therapies, physiotherapy, occupational therapy. I mean, just name it. Yeah, I went through it. And it was thanks to the dedication of my mom that I am who I am today, because she wanted me to be as independent as possible, so that when it's time for God to take her, I'll be able to survive on my own. So that was her main aim in life. She homeschooled me for the first 12 years of my life. She she did a lot of physiotherapy with me, because we were not living in a developed country. We were actually living in the Caribbean, because my father was working with the UNDP and the Commonwealth Secretariat. So I grew up in the Caribbean, and they are not any better than us when it comes to disability issues. anything like that. So it's like living in a third world country with a disability as well. So she had to do a lot of research on her own, read textbooks and all that. Because I mean, you're talking about way before the internet. You're talking about the early 80s.
You're
And,
right.
so she got all these medical textbooks to read about the condition and all that. And yeah, so then she started teaching me via correspondence because she realized that first of all she taught me how to read, and she realized that I picked it up very quickly. So once I'm able to read, then that means I'll be able to learn other things. So gradually she started adding various programs to my coursework and all that stuff. So yeah, then we moved to Ghana when I was 9 years old. Came to Africa for the second time. I mean, it was a real culture shock. I mean, and and at the time we moved, the charismatic movement was really raining high in Ghana, in Nigeria. I mean, all those things, so I can't talk about the number of healing crusades that I went to, the number of pray for me camps that I went to, all that stuff, and for me, so when I grew up and I started giving these talks and all those things, I remember I was invited to come and talk at a seminary to talk to the upcoming Christian, all that stuff. And I told them that, look, if God hasn't told you to heal this person, please don't heal the person. Don't call the person to the front and pray for the person, because it will not work. Because you're saying that you're standing in God's shoes or whatever. You're standing in God's hand to heal the person or whatever. And God hasn't told you that you have to heal the person. So what happens is you take the person to the front of the church. In the first place, the person becomes self-conscious. The person, I mean, you can imagine me being carried to the front of the church. Everybody is looking at you. Everybody is laying hands on you and saying, "Walk, get up and walk, get up and walk in Jesus' name." And nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. So what happens? You go back and you start questioning your faith. You can't start questioning that why? Why is it happening to me? Is it that my faith is not strong enough and all? So at the age of 18, I stopped going to church. I told my mother that, look, I am an adult now. I will not go to church again. And you can't force me. Because that is what those things do. It drives people away from church. Because I could not comfortably go to church without feeling trepidation in my heart that somebody will come and see me and I want to do an instant miracle healing service, although it wasn't scheduled. So I still went to church for 5 years. I didn't. Then when I during that period, I went away to university in the UK, and I found a quiet, nice church to go to. Not charismatic or anything like that. and even if it was charismatic, they were not, because of all the rights and all those things that people have there, and the fact that they don't want to offend anybody, they are not going to come and forcibly lay hands on you. So I felt safe. I felt safe there. And I always say that, look, the house of God should be a place where you can go to and feel safe and feel welcome and feel accepted. But if you go there and people are trying to change you from who God has put you in this world to be, then you're in the wrong place. So anyway, after that, so when I was 12, I went to school for the first time, mainstream school for the first time. I did my 3 years at junior high school. And after that, I was going to go to senior high school. I got excellent grades. But then the disability and friendly parents of the school would have made it difficult for me to cope. So I had to, it was decided that I should go and do a computer course. So at the age of 16, I left senior high school. I went and did the computer diploma. And after that, I started working. And I worked at a computer training institute for 1 year while doing my high diploma part-time. Then by that time, I realized which area of IT I wanted to specialize in, which was software development. So I looked and I realized that to be the kind of programmer who I wanted to be, I had to learn on the job, because what they were teaching us in school wouldn't give me the real life experience to be excellent at what I want, be as excellent as I wanted to be. So I looked around the various software companies in Ghana, and I chose one. And I remember I walked into the office and I asked the manager for a job. There was no job advertised or anything. I told him that, look, I want to work with you. I don't have any experience, but if you give me the opportunity, I promise you that you will never regret it. And I got the job there and then. I don't know where I got that courage from, but then I reckon that, I mean, what do I have to lose? Because when you think about it, what could he have said? He could have said no.
Exactly.
But no doesn't kill us.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't kill us.
No, doesn't kill us. Yeah.
But I realize that we are afraid of taking chances. We are afraid of approaching opportunities because we are afraid of rejection.
That's true.
But then when you realize that rejection doesn't kill, it rather gives you an opportunity to learn from it and come back stronger, then you can do so much with what you have, without being afraid of rejection. So I went there and I got a job, and I worked there for 3 years. Then after 3 years, I got a bit bored, so I moved to another company, and I decided to do another diploma while working in the other company. After that, I had two diplomas in IT. I didn't have a degree, so I applied to various universities across the UK and Ghana. And the University of Hertfordshire in the UK gave me direct entry to final year for a BSc in computer science. So I went straight into third year and graduated after 1 year with a second class upper in computer science. Yeah. So I came back and I continued with my old job for another 4 years, and then I got bored again. and I said that, look, whenever I get bored with something, that means something great is coming my way. So I was so bored that I started looking for another job. I only got in another job, so I decided to write a book.
Okay.
I decided to write a book about my experiences growing up with a disability. Actually, what prompted me to write that third book was that one day I was at the ATM machine, minding my own business, trying to cash money. Somebody came and said that, oh, I want to invite you to a prayer camp, for a prayer meeting. At that point, I said, no, I have to let people know what it is like being told this all the time. And the best way to do that, you will have the book.
Yeah. Definition of miracle.
So I had to let people know that look, this is how we feel. We also have feelings. We are not just people who can be dragged left, right, center, searching for healing. We also have our psychological and emotional part That
Exactly.
that is never taken into consideration in this part of the world. So so I wrote the book while I was looking for my other job. It's like no matter what I did, I got interviews. I was told I was too qualified and all that stuff. But then God told me something that look, finish this book. If you finish it, because I know you. If you got a job today, you would finish the book. So I want you to finish the book. So too. As soon as I finished the book, 3 days later, I got a job offer. I was like, wow, this one there is really good. So I got a job offer from a former colleague of mine who has started a microfinance company. He wanted me to come and run the IT department because he wanted the microfinance company to be heavily reliant on IT. And I
Okay.
was like, okay, that is a total different industry from what I'm used to because I've never worked in the financial sector or anything, so it'd be interesting. So I went there and I started working with him. Then I realized that the software they were using wasn't very efficient, so I decided to build one for them. And that software became made the operations super efficient to the extent that other microfinance companies wanted to use it. So he saw a business opportunity for us. So he said, okay, let's leave the microfinance company for somebody else to run, and let's form a software company so that we can sell these solutions to other microfinance companies. So that is how we started Logicare, and I was with them for. I left Logicare last year, and I'm currently working for Microsoft now as a software
Wow.
engineer. Yeah. Because but once again I got bored and I needed to move on. Yeah. So yeah, and interestingly enough, when I made the decision, it's like people when you are an employer and you're going back into to be an employee, a lot of people are afraid of making that move. They're like, hey, what will people think? Will people think I have failed? Because it's like when you're an entrepreneur, you're seen as being a big person and all. But for me, at the end of the day, if you are an entrepreneur and you're always broke, what's the point? When somebody else can pay you very well or can give you enough so that you have a comfortable life and all. So because after I left and people had somebody came up to me and asked me that he wants to leave, but you want to leave the company and join and get a job because things are difficult. But he doesn't know how to do that. He wants to do what people will say. I said, are you going to live your life worried about what people will say? Then now well for you because no matter what you do or what you say, people will talk.
Exactly.
So just live your life and forget about what people will say. Do what is best for you as an individual. As long as you are not harming anybody or stepping on anybody's toes, please live your life and do what
Wow.
you want. Then a couple, I think, so 2018 too, I came up with a superhero, Kanza, which featured the first superhero with cerebral palsy because after Black Panther came out and I realized the impact that this superhero metaverse can have, I said that but there's nobody with a disability in the superhero world. Why don't I create mine? And for me, I don't believe in sitting down and complaining about things when there's something I can do about it. So instead of sitting down and going on Twitter or Facebook or any other social media platform and complaining that why isn't the superhero with cerebral palsy? I decided to create one. So I created Hamza, and it was a big hit all around the world. I had people tweeting about it from Australia. I was interviewed on BBC about it and all that because the first superhero with cerebral palsy in the world.
Wow.
So that
Sorry,
is
what's the name you called it again? Kanda?
Kamza.
Kamda.
Kamza. Karmzah. Kamza.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So that is my story in a nutshell. So please ask questions because I don't think I have anything else.
All right. Number one, let me say congrats to you on your move to Microsoft. And I think that was a very bold step, like you rightly said. If I seem not to be moving forward with what I'm doing presently, then I should always take the best option available for me. That was exactly what you did, and I mean, it's really a very big step you took. All right. Farida said we can ask her questions. I'm going to give just like 4 or 5 persons to ask those questions that you'd want to really ask. Now, Farida, there are some other people here that have disability. One of the things keeping them back is always this issue of accessibility. And then, you were bold enough to ask for a job and you got it. But some are trying to get a job and they always meet the dead end. So what's going to be your advice for them? Issue of accessibility and issue of rejection.
So the accessibility problem is there. I mean, every office that I've worked in hasn't been accessible, but I found a way of making it work. Even even when we had our own office, there were always a few steps to enter the building or whatever. So luckily, I work with questions, so it wasn't that big a deal. But so until we can get to the stage where the laws work, which says public buildings must be accessible, we'll continue to face this problem. Luckily these days with remote work and all that stuff, it has made things a bit easier for us. And for me, I always say that look, when you get the opportunity to prove yourself, do it exceedingly well. So that at the end of the day, nobody will care whether you have a disability or not. Because by the time they get to know you have a disability, they are already using your product and all that stuff. So you cannot discriminate against me when you are using what I've done to work. So I set out to make sure that nobody will ever have a reason to discriminate against me based on my disability. There was a time that the office I was working in, the lift got spoiled, and I had to climb 4 flights of stairs every day for 3 months consistently. My knee started hurting. When my knee hurts, what do? I bandage it and I get on the staircase again and I go up the stairs. In the end, after 3 months, I realized that I had even torn a ligament in my knee. At the end of the day, that is the level of dedication that I had to the job. Because I was grateful for the opportunity and I didn't want to give my employer any reason to discriminate against me. So I know that it's difficult out there, but sometimes some of us too, we don't pull out. Let's be honest about that, because I've worked with a lot of people with disabilities, and most of the time they expect handouts. They want people to give them money. They don't want to do what they need to do to be self-sustaining. They'd rather have government or political parties come and give them rights and oil and whatever at the end of the day, and they are happy with that. But because when I tell them that look, let's do this project, it will help all of us. It will help the community, and it will give you an opportunity to just say no. unless you pay them, they are not willing to do it. And I'm like, why should I pay you? Because it's something that will help all of us. So I'm not going to pay you anything. So we also have to lose that attitude, because once we have that attitude of people of feeling that we have to sympathize with and all, we will go far. Me, I don't want anybody to pity me or to sympathize with me or anything. I mean, what are you sympathizing with me for? I live in a house. I have my own car, my own job. I have a good job. So why are you feeling sorry for me? Feel sorry for yourself.
Exactly. Wow. All right. So no sense of entitlement. Don't make your situation to be a source of excuse for you. Say, if not for you know, this is so awesome. It is awesome. Now let's talk about Kazam before. Please, if you have any question, you can just raise your hand, and then I will take the question from you. But let's talk about Kazam. Now, is it a comic or just
so
or is it just a book?
Kamza is a comic.
Okay.
And it's currently being made into a video game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And one thing that I want to talk about is that I made sure that she got her powers from her crutches. So without the crutches, she's powerless. Because what I realized is that those of us who use assistive devices like wheelchairs, crutches, and all that stuff, at a certain point in our lives, let's be honest, we end up resenting them. I mean, haven't you ever resented having to use your wheelchair or your crutches or your walking aid or whatever? And as children too, we didn't like using them. We used to complain and all. But those are the things that help us to be as independent as possible. So I wanted it to be a source of pride. So that if a child sees Kamsa fighting with a practice and all, and the child is also using practice, the child will feel proud that I'm also using practice.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Only a genius can be thinking the way you think, Farida. You know, I've always loved all those superhero characters right from when I was very young. And I'm not sure I've missed any superhero movie now, whether it's X-Men or Spider-Man or
but did you see anybody with your disability? No.
So it's now that you just came up with that it's just occurring to me that, of course, I've always told people that I told them I have my own superhero abilities, you know. I've never even thought of making it into a book or a movie or something. This is so inspiring. Wow. Okay. Somebody raised a hand. I hope you're still here. Yuri, I think I saw your hand the other time. So Yuri, are you still with us?
Yeah, I was trying to unmute. Good evening.
All right. You can't until I unmute you.
Okay. Okay. Farida, bravo, girl. Bravo. I don't even know where to start. I am so inspired. I'm also so, would I say, challenged. I really want to thank you. I'm glad I came through it all today to listen to you. And I had to put down my hand, you know, I wanted to ask some questions. But when I heard you say that you decided to create Kamsa, you know, in a way that her powers came from her crutches, and, you know, you also talked about persons that lived with assisted devices, you know, just hating those devices. I thought that was it was beyond brilliant, honestly, for you to have approached, that subject that way. And I am an inclusion advocate, and I've always, when I came into working in this space, I always thought outside the box. And I've also, I am one of those that feel that if it's inclusion, then it has to be inclusion, it has to be total. And honestly, for you to come out with a superhero, that has a disability, it's really amazing and brilliant. And I know that in my own little work in this disability space, I've always, come out with, something that is, like I said, outside the box, and it has to be inclusion all along. Now, I listened to you from when you started, and I almost burst out laughing a lot of times, especially when you said, that whenever you go to church, people just want to heal, want to pray, and you're just thinking, oh my goodness, how many people are going to lay hands on me today? Something like that, that was, that was really so hilarious. And yes, you stopped going to church, and I know that kind of created so I'm just wondering, were you able to resolve that kind of what I call it, the kind of resentment, for people trying to overly, would I say, I'm just trying to understand. Well, you must have had a kind of resentment towards. Did you have a kind of resentment towards God, as it were, and you stopped going to church at that time? When did you actually reconnect with Him? And I know you have a great relationship with Him right now, but when was the turning point, for you to understand that it had to do with you understanding Him and having a special relationship with Him? When was that? When did that happen?
So I stopped going to church, but I didn't stop praying to God.
Okay.
I still believed in God. I remember when I went to university and I was sitting in the room and alone. The first day, my mom took me to campus and left me in the room. And at the time, I didn't have a wheelchair or anything. I was wondering that how am I going to walk all the way to the classroom and everything. And I remember sitting on my bed and saying that, hey, what have I put myself into? Because I remember when I wanted to go to this university, I had to convince my mother, I had to convince my father that I'll be able to survive. I'll be able to survive. And I've come here and I've figured out how I'm going to survive. but so then I remember saying to God that, look, God, you have brought me to this place, so show me a way out of this situation. And a few minutes later, there was a knock on the door, and it was the school. They brought me an electronic scooter. So that was
wow, amazing.
Yeah. So for me, even though I stopped going to church, I didn't stop believing in God. It was the church thing that I couldn't do. So when we came back, when I came back and all that, luckily by that time we had started going to a charismatic church, and we were going to an interdenominational church on the university campus. We were full of lecturers and highly educated people who are very strict and all that stuff. So at least I felt safer there. So yeah, but then once in a while I will still go to a charismatic church and all that. But if you and people still approach me in public, and I will tell them that have you prayed for yourself first? Pray for yourself first and solve your own problems before you come and pray for me. I found a humorous way of dealing with it. I found a way that I don't get as angry as I used to get about it, because I realized that as long as you're that fucker, this thing is bound to happen. In fact, I remember about 3 or 4 years ago, we went on a family trip to Israel for the first time. And there I got 3 people of different religions who wanted to pray for me. And I'm like, in Israel too. I thought this only happens in Africa.
Oh dear.
So I was like, okay, all right. So I mean, you have to find a way of dealing with this. And I realized that maturity also helps a lot, because when you realize that some people they genuinely want to help, but they don't know how to help. And
Exactly.
you have to find a way of educating them that, look, there's nothing wrong with you. Just because my legs don't work the way they're supposed to work, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. I'm sure there's something in you that doesn't work the way it's supposed to work as well. Go and figure that out and leave me alone.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Louis, for that. Thank you. And Farida, now I'm in between. I'm someone that has a disability, and now I'm a pastor. You understand? And like you rightly said, it's all about everybody genuinely trying to see how they can help. And it's now that people are getting to understand better that God is ever faithful. He wasn't sleeping when he was creating us. You understand? We are not either genetic or biological mistakes. It's always a deliberate thing. And God creates us the way he creates us, and he wants to use us as a wonder, just like what he's presently doing. You understand? So I get invitations to come preach, and you can imagine when the invited pastor needs to walk on the crutches to climb the staircase. And so one of the things I always first try to handle is, I know the pity that we go with pastors that have come to preach and say, hey, yeah, see, pastor, you understand? So I needed to tell them what had led to this and why it is like that, and why God is using this to glorify himself presently. So like you rightly said, everybody wants to help, but they just don't know the best way to do it. You understand? So thank you for that. One more question. Now we've run out of time. Just one more question. One of the silent questions I'm perceiving that people are not asking is about relationship. You want to talk about that, Farida?
What question do you want to ask me about that? Am I married? Do I have a boyfriend or anything like that? Or what?
You've asked questions.
No, but I'm looking. So if you know anybody, please hook me up.
All right. I
have a very specific list, though. So
sorry, I didn't get that.
I have a very specific set of requirements, though. So.
Oh, okay. Well, anybody that wants to fit into that.
Exactly.
The Lord is going to do it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
One that is going to fit in even much more perfectly than you can imagine into that your specification.
Amen.
All right. Maybe the last word I wanted to say, although you've said it the first time, let's say it again because we always say it when we want to close. I wanted to just, from your heart, I wanted to speak to somebody here today that feels hopeless, that feels nothing can work in my life again. And most times I have passion for youth. So I really want you to counsel someone here from your heart.
So I think what you have to realize is that no matter how bad your situation is, it could be worse. I mean, and when you realize that, then you start counting your blessings. And if you count your blessings, you realize how blessed you are. And as long as you have food to eat and clothes to wear and a roof over over your head, you are blessed. And it's about time you realize that and thank God for that. If you haven't, I mean, I'll be the first person to say that having a disabled child or having a disability in this part of the world, it's one of the most difficult things. I mean, because depending on where you are, you can even be thrown out of your community and all that stuff. But I mean, there's hope. All you have to do is to put in the hard work. And I always say that, look, I could easily have been one of those people begging on the streets if it were not for the home that I put into. And if you realize that, then you realize that I mean, those people begging on the streets are usually are capable of being me if they had the right upbringing or the right circumstances around their homes and all that stuff. So nobody is hopeless. Nobody is useless. We are all put on this earth for a reason. So let's find our purpose. Let's find our purpose. So once you find what your purpose is in life, you'll be able to live your life according to that purpose. But then we spend a lot of time moving around, going from job to job, going from relationship to relationship, looking for something which can only be found in God. So when you realize that it's only God who can satisfy that yearning in our hearts, and we accept Him fully, and we surrender our lives to Him fully, and we ask for direction, everything else will be added onto us.
Wow.
Take heart. I mean, I know that things are tough. I mean, things are really tough, especially with the. I don't know about in Nigeria, but in Ghana, we are blaming everything that is going wrong on the war in Ukraine and
And Russia.
I mean, Russia, yeah, we are blaming the Russians for everything that's happening in this country. So yeah, but I mean, everything will come to an end. So we just have to keep our head up. And I mean, even if it means we have to tighten our belts and stop going to weddings and sewing asobi and all those things for a while. Let's do that, and because at the end of the day, we are all in survival mode now. So let's survive this crisis.
Wow, wow, wow. That's so nice. Thank you so much, Farida. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You are always a darling to listen to. You know, you have your own unique way of handling things, and it's obvious that God has made you to be so perfectly and wonderfully made.
Amen.
So how many books do you have out there now? Definition of miracle.
The book is actually out of print, so I have to print more.
Oh, it's out of print now.
Yeah, but Kamsa is available on Amazon in the ebook shop. So,
Oh, okay, all right.
yeah, Kamsa is available on the ebook.
So you can get that ebook.
Yeah.
But definition of miracle is not. You've not put the ebook out there.
No, I pulled it from the shelf. I need to reprint it. I need to organize myself and do all these things. And right now, concentrating on looking for money. So those things, I think I'm taking a back shop.
It's all right. Don't worry. All things work together, and there's always a right time for everything. So
yeah, definitely.
I want to thank you so very much, Farida, for this night. Thank you for honoring this invitation. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And maybe some other time, still going to call you again. Maybe when we have to talk to people with disability directly. And
no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
So thank you.
I'm happy. I'm happy to do that.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Through It All happens every Thursday, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I said, it's all about using stories of people that God has really helped to really ginger some other people back to life and tell them that you also can do it. All right. So I'll be bringing another guest next Thursday, 8 p.m. On Through It All. Her name is Shade Salimonu. She also has a very, 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 very inspiring story. I won't let the cat out of the bag now. And we may not have it on Zoom next week. It's going to be on my YouTube channel because it's a pre-recorded discussion that I had with Shade. So we'll share the YouTube link with us in the course of next week's. So thank you so much once again. I really appreciate every one of you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all your comments. Let's meet again next Thursday by His grace and mercy. Farida, we're going to still be talking and connecting after now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.